What's going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we are in round 2 for this week. If you guys have not seen round 1, I'll try and remember to leave a link to it up in the top right hand of the video for you guys to check out, so you can see that matchup. But here we've got Phantom Knight versus Cyber Dragon. Cyber Dragon probably being one of the most represented decks at our Locals, right next to VW. Phantom Knight's getting up there, so no surprise to see these two decks on the feature. And before these guys get started, let's go ahead and take a look at the poll results. So about 1,000 of you guys voted, and about 61% of you guys said that Phantom Knight was going to win and that Cyber Dragon was going to lose. So let's see if you guys are correct. Of course, the die roll does play a pretty big role in this, and it looks like Phantom Knight winning the die roll after they had a tie, each player rolling 9 total. And Phantom Knight squeaking it out there in the first reroll. And I can imagine that they will be going first, of course. And they open up the Torn Scales with Boots. So that is a very, very strong opening. Probably the strongest opening you could get in this deck. I want to say next to like Tour Guide and Kagamucha. That is an extremely, extremely strong opening. Not only because it does get you right to Cherubini very efficiently, but it gives you a ton of follow-up engrave. So speaking of Cherubini, we'll see it activates effects to go ahead and send a level 3 monster from the deck to the grave, and that is going to send Graph, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. Of course, Graph's effect will activate to go ahead and summon Seer, and looking at what's left in his hand here, it looks like he has Cloak, Ash, and Droll, so 2 going second cards here in the opening hand. Really, really good going second cards, too. Droll tends to be a very high-impact hand trap against decks like Dragon Link, VW, and Drytron, so, you know, could come in clutch here against the Cyber Dragon deck, too, because it does search quite a bit. You know, you have Cyber Emergency, you have Cyber Dragon Hers, you have Pot of Extravagance, Galaxy Soldier. Actually can turn off quite a few cards. And Cyber Repair Plant as well, all really good surge cards. So we're going to see him link into the Rusty. Seer will bring back Cherubini, and it'll attempt Rusty effect to go ahead and send to set. It's going to get hit with an Imperm. I think that's a pretty good Imperm. You know, you stop him from getting another extender in the grave. Probably something like Gloves to the grave. I mean, he already has Cloak in hand, so perhaps he could send another one. But we're just going to see him banish the Boots now, and he's going to go ahead and get the Rusty, or not Rusty, Torn Scales off of that, since a Phantom Knight card was banished, and he'll get the Shade Brigandine extender as well. So he's now going to go ahead and use Torn Scales, since obviously he didn't use it yet, and Torn Scales will go ahead and send a Phantom Knight card from the deck to the grave, and he's going to go ahead and send a copy of Glove, so pretty much has access to every name at this point. We'll probably see him go for Appaloosa here shortly. One thing I like about this deck as well is its ability to make a card like Evil Swarm Nightmare. That's like the thing I like the most about Breaksword Shenanigans turn 1. I know a lot of people tend to use the targets that they summon back off of Breaksword for cards like Anaconda or IP, but like I still really love Evil Swarm Nightmare. It's just such a good card. I just wish it could be like played more, because I understand like things like Anaconda into Dragoon are just going to be like a bit more viable at the end of the day, because one thing the Phantom Knight deck does struggle with is putting up spell and trap negation. Yes, it can make Appaloosa very easily, but it struggles to put up any form of like spell trap negation. Even the builds that play like Utopic Draco, obviously that's just a monster negate. You know, Fog Blade negating more monsters, right? You need kind of something else that adds a little bit of a variety into that pool of negation. So we're going to see him summon Stain Greaves and the Torn Scale off the wings, and he's going to make the Breaksword. Rusty will pop the Breaksword, and Breaksword effect will summon back the 2 as level 4s. Not going for Evil Swarm Nightmare, unfortunately, although I would love to see that, especially a beautiful DT copy. I've had one sitting in my binder for so long, and when I eventually play Phantom Knights again, I want to actually run the card in my deck, because I don't have Anaconda Dragoon, so maybe I'll have room for it in my extra deck. But I definitely see the value of running the Anaconda engine. Obviously, both decks on the Anaconda engine as well, because they're both decks that can benefit from it, you know, greatly. Cyber Dragon really is only known for putting up like the Infinity with maybe Overflow. And, you know, having 2 Omni Negates is certainly better than 1, especially if you have the extra monsters on board to do something with, you know, right? Like the monster you summon off of Infinity or off of Nova, and then your normal summon tend to be very, very easy targets to have as extra link material. So we'll see him end on Appaloosa for 3 with the Dragoon, alongside Ash and Droll in the opening hand. So this is going to be a very, very hard board to break. The contact fusion mechanic is going to be a little less good here because there are no machines on the PK player's field. Mega Fleet's going to be really the only thing he can take advantage of to suck up a Rusty. And I don't believe he has any Fog Blaze engraved, so even if he does contact fusion with it, he won't be able to revive it this turn anyways. So we'll see Emergency add Noxer, and I imagine we'll see Droll Knockbird here on the Resolution. I don't really think there's a reason not to. Like, if you're going to play Droll, you might as well just use it right away, especially since this is a deck that can search quite a bit. Emergency, Core, Repair Plant, Hers, Galaxy Soldier, does a lot of searching. And interesting, we're just not going to see Droll activated on the Resolution of the Emergency, but instead we're going to see him activate it here, which you can't use Droll this way. Droll has to be used immediately after a card is added. So you can't, like, use it in a way like this where it's like Ash, essentially. Like, if he goes Hers, pitch, Noxer, pitch Hers, he can't just chain Droll, I believe, in response to the Hers. You only have an opportunity to do it after the fact. So I don't believe Droll can be used in that manner. So I think Droll was just used incorrectly there. I mean, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure you can't use Droll that way. Droll has to be used on the Resolution immediately when something is added from the deck to the hand. But I guess nobody catching that. I don't think it really would have made too much of a difference, just because, like, you know, you draw on the Resolution of Emergency, like, he's still not going to get to search off of the Hers anyways. But we will see him do a sick contact fusion for 3, linking the Noxer into Relinquished Anima, sucking up both Anima and Rusty and his own core into a 3600 Mega Fleet. And that's going to run right over top of Dragoon. And can't respond to it, obviously, which is really, really good. So Appaloosa not getting any value here, and he will just pass turn after setting 1. Now we're going to see that beautiful secret rare Speed Dual Rhoda go ahead and search out something. Probably go for, like, maybe a Boots here or Torn Scale. I'm pretty sure he already has Torn Scale and Grave. Could be wrong. Can't really fully see the graveyard at this point, but he will go ahead and add the Torn Scale here. Makes the most sense. Torn Scale is a pretty crazy card. Now the only thing is, like, how are you going to put game on board here? I guess this is, like, the best time to kind of do it. Like, you don't have to worry about Mega Fleet doing anything at all here. The set card could be Overflow. So playing around Overflow is going to be pretty difficult for the most part. Like, I guess you could force it out with a Break Sword. And at worst, they're just getting to search off the Overflow if they don't chain. And you still have a ton of follow-up in Grave. So I feel like going for a Break Sword as soon as possible is probably the best play. We'll see what happens here. He does have the Ash in hand still, so that may have to get discarded off the Torn Scales if he decides to go that route. And Appaloosa is still holding down the fort, obviously, from any hand traps from the opponent, which it doesn't seem like he opened any. So we'll see him normal summon the Torn Scales. And probably debating on here where he had to activate the effect. It looks like he's going to. He's going to discard the Ash. And we'll see what he goes ahead and decides to send here. Looking at Boots, Cloak, Fog Blade, all good possibilities here. But he's going to go ahead and send the Cloak. And from here, it'd be very, very easy to go ahead and set up a Break Sword. So let's see what the next play is going to be. Cloak could banish to go ahead and search, like, Boots. Summon Boots, go for Break Sword effect, target itself the set, and then Break Sword effect, summon 2 more, you're locked into Darks. But no, we're going to see a Link 4. He's just going to, alright, we're just going right to Access Code. I mean, that'll force out the back row as well. And Appaloosa, or not Appaloosa, but Access Code is going to gain 4,000 attack. So that is a 6,300 Access Code. And he does have 2 different attributes engraved, Dark and Wind. So he's going to banish Anaconda, banish Appaloosa, clear the Mega Fleet, and clear what ends up being a set emergency, so it was just a bluff. I mean, it would make sense they had to set that. He was under Droll. That's also once per turn, but... So he will go ahead and banish Cloak. That's going to summon Torn Scales. He adds Boots off the Cloak, summons Breaksword, and it's just going to go for game that way. It looks like our Cyber Dragon player opened up the Lightning Storm, which is unfortunate, having to go second into a board like that. It's just going to get negated immediately by the Dragoon. And as these guys get ready to go ahead and get ready for game 2, let's go ahead and mention a quick shout out to our sponsor over at Imperium Duelist. If you guys are interested in picking up amazing sleeves, deck boxes, dice, binders, backpacks, and more, check them out at the link below, guys. They just came out with a brand new set of dice and a brand new mat. And if you want to pick it up and support the channel in the process, head down to the link in the description. And don't forget to use my discount code WinnerKills10 off at checkout to save 10% off your entire order. And lastly, if you guys are buying anything on TCG Player, please do not forget to use my affiliate link found in the description of all my videos. If you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase goes right back in the channel and helps out a ton for cards. Of course, you're already going to be buying at no extra cost to you guys. And also, if you're interested in getting exclusive community tab posts, early videos, behind the scene photos, etc., and your name at the end of all my videos, consider becoming a member of the channel today by clicking that blue join button down below, or there should be a link to become a member in the description as well. It's a great way to support the channel, and you guys also get something out of it in the process, similar to all the other ways that you can support. So here in game 2, I can imagine that Cyber Dragon is going to want to go first, just because you don't want to run into Appaloosa, Dragoon, and Droll. I mean, Droll is still a very real threat here, even going first. And, all right, this is very, very unfortunate. The T set and pass. That is very, very rough. That's very, very rough. I mean, Dragoon, or not Dragoon, Cyber Dragoon is capable of putting up some really, really good boards. So it really sucks to see that game 2 is starting this way. But, you know, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. So we're going to see him normal gloves, summon Boots, summon out the Psychic Wielder, and 2 level 3s. You know what that means. Cherubini, and also take note that Cherubini is protected, or can protect itself from destruction, because there is another card in the field. I know a friend of mine who plays this deck. He always makes it a point to have a card at least set on the field somewhere, just in case when you go to use your Cherubini, they have a Gamma for it, they have a, you know, Ghost Ogre, or any sort of effect that would destroy it. Having an extra card in the field to send off to protect it makes a world of a difference, especially because Cherubini sends for cost. So, good to see that we're actually seeing that happen here. So we're going to see him send Torn Scales off of the Cherubini, and looks like he's not opting to send the Graph, because he's already opened Seer at this point. This is one reason why decks, other builds tend to play Skarm. I'm not sure if he's actually playing Skarm or not, but I can assume probably not, because most builds will still play Skarm alongside the Seer and Graph, because if you open Seer, you still have a summon target for your Graph, and the Seer becomes an extender at that point if you're playing the Skarm. So it can be a pretty decent tech choice in the main deck for Phantom Knight, but we'll see him go ahead and link into Rusty regardless. With the Boots and Cherubini, Rusty effect attempting to activate. We're going to see Ash. Let's go ahead and negate. And it's a good thing that at least our Cyber Dragon players opened up a hand trap both games 1 and 2. Imperm game 1, Ash game 2. Better than nothing. But something tells me 1 Ash is simply not going to be enough, especially since he has Torn Scales and Boots in grave already. So we're going to see him banish the Gloves here. Gloves is going to go ahead and send a Cloak. And I believe our PK player in hand has a Fog Blade, a Seer, and one other card. I can't exactly tell what it is currently, but we're going to see him activate Torn Scales here. And probably trying to get into a Breaksword next. He could also probably go for Access Code here if he's able to step up into like a Unicorn or something, which he could probably do. Like, he does have Seer in hand. And yeah, I was just about to say, he's probably going to go ahead and discard Seer off the Torn Scales so he can get another extender in grave. And he can also bring back Cherubini, so we'll see him send the Wings. And Seer is going to activate to bring back Cherubini. So there's your Unicorn. And then you just need basically another body on top of that. We could see him actually banish Cloak here to go ahead and search a Boots. But he's already summoned Boots, so won't actually be able to do that. But you can also just use Wings Engraved too to revive one. And see what the next play is going to be. I think that's like one thing you could definitely do here though, like but I mean you do risk like running right into a Nibiru. I guess it's like if you're trying to call your opponent's bluff, I guess. So we'll see him activate Wings. Wings is going to summon out Cloak. So you could easily go for Appaloosa here and play it safe, or you could probably still climb up into like an access code. Or you could go for Leviair revive one, and then maybe go for Appaloosa to like recycle a resource in the process, but we're going to see him just go for the Break Sword. And that's going to activate Rusty's effect. That's going to force out an Imperm, so at least 2 interruptions here forced out. And that's going to go ahead and Imperm the Break Sword, which is something you definitely want to go ahead and do. Because you don't want to allow him to get Break Sword effect here to pop another card and then get 2 other bodies on the field. So we're going to see him use Boots here. Boots is going to go ahead and add Shade Brigandine. And honestly, he might just go for, like, you could go for Nightmare Unicorn here. And Nightmare Unicorn could spin the last card, and then you could just go for access code for game. That is a very greedy play, but like it could definitely work here. I mean, you've already played through 2 interruptions, already like 2 hand traps in quotes, so. Or Appaloosa. Appaloosa, of course, is the safe route here if he doesn't want to get hit with Nibiru. But if the opponent was going first, and he wasn't maining Nibiru, odds are it might not be in the main deck going first in game 2. So you might not have to worry about it. So, I mean, he's looking at the Unicorn in the extra deck, so I wouldn't be shocked if he decides to go for it. So, he is going to go for the Unicorn, and he has, like, you know, a nice discard outlet for, or discard for the Unicorn in that of the Fog Blade. So, he's going to go ahead and spin back the set, and we're just going to see a Link 4. I wonder which one it's going to be. He's going to go for access code, which is going to go up to 5,300 alongside the Break Sword, or the Rusty. It's not quite game, but he's going to go ahead and use Fog Blade. That's going to bring back the Break Sword, and that is definitely going to be game if our Cyber Dragon player doesn't have anything. Nope, just a Droll and a Hers. And Droll obviously not going to be doing too much, if anything, here in this particular matchup. So Cyber Dragon losing 2-0 here to Phantom Knight. Looks like you guys were incorrect yet again. But yeah, if you guys want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to all of our Divine level channel members who go above and beyond to support me and the channel. And they are Cadillacs84, Ponystar, Keith Sidgers, and Tweeter0226. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your incredible support.